Hello, it's your boy Mellow TMG. I'm here to bring you my fight recap of the great momentous event last weekend. So that is Saul Canelo Alvarez against Caleb Plant. What a fight it was. I'm all the way from London, England. That's within the UK. I stayed up late for that fight, watched the fight. Quick tip for you guys, make sure you nap. Make sure you nap. Saturday night, between 8 and 10 nap, wake up 3, 4 in the morning, watch the fight, fresh as a fiddle, be able to watch the fight, if you scrutinize it properly with your eyes, be able to see all the little parts that you might miss if you're tired. But it was a great fight. Glad I stayed up for the fight. As you know, we now have the news and the first super middleweight undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. That is the WBA, the WBO, the WBC, IBF. Canelo also has the ring as well. And he probably has the lineal championship of the super middleweight division as well. Canelo now moves up to 57-1-2 with 39 KOs. Maybe should have more losses on his record, but that's a story for a different day, not today. This is all about Canelo's praise. So I had Canelo winning 96-94 before the knockdown anyways. Sorry, the knockdown and subsequently the knockout anyways. I had him winning round 2 and 3 were close. I give him one of those rounds. 4, 5, 6, 7 I had him definitely winning. And obviously round 10. But yeah, and how he did that, literally. Canelo's upper body movement, is elite. It's so elite. His feints, his pivots, it's just so elite. He's always putting guys under pressure, always on the back foot, always keeping you off kilter, always keeping you off balance. And, his punch dexterity is crazy. I mean, Plant landed a lot of jabs, but Canelo landed the power shots. Canelo will hit anything. Hit your shoulders, hit your arms, hit your hip. He even did that to Floyd Mayweather. I remember watching a video, I think it was a recap from Fight Hap. Shout out Fight Hap, where they'd done the post-match, or a post-match interview. It wasn't a big one, like in the press conference. It was a one-to-one post-match interview after the fight. Floyd was complaining about his left thigh being hurt. Canelo will punch anything. Arms, shoulders, anything, chest, anything where he can get to cause damage. When you say attack the body, he takes that to a whole new level. Anything of your body, he'll attack. Like as we saw, he did to Callum Smith. He basically took away his, I believe, his left arm, his left hook, because he was punching Callum Smith's left arm whilst trying to block, and eventually, popped a blood vessel. So that basically disabled, which is very intelligent, basically disabled and disarmored Callum Smith's left arm. But yeah, the guy, he just causes so much damage. His punches they're crazy. He has good power, crazy power, and it causes so much damage. I mean, he always takes his pound out of flesh out of his opponent in one way, shape, or form. And the dexterity to punch the head and punch the body is crazy. I mean, yeah, he carved the ring very well. Dipping, diving, the pivots, the ins, the out. When he picks up the pace, his footwork's really improved. I'll give him credit for that. You know what I mean? Because when he faced Mayweather 8 years ago, obviously 8 years ago was a long time ago, he was roughly 24. His footwork wasn't that great. It was slow feet, plodding feet, kind of got stuck in the mud a bit. But now he's cut off the ring so well. I mean, and because he has the perfect game plan. Shout out him and Eddie Reynoso. That camp is very dubious for one reason or another. But shout out Eddie Reynoso, because the game plan they have for these fights is simple but yet so effective. When they fight the faster guys, they attack the body, they take their pound of flesh, and eventually they slow you down and they catch you late. Whether they knock you out late or they take over the fight in the late rounds. And by doing that, it also helps to mask one of Canelo's weaknesses, which used to be stamina, as we saw in the Golovkin fight, specifically the first one. Stamina is usually an issue for him. But when he's attacking the body, you're getting more tired than he is. So he wins at the end of the day. And you could see the toll was taken. Like the body shots did take its toll, because punches that were grazing Caleb Plant in the early rounds, they were starting to connect. And then the punch that won Canelo the fight, the looping left hook, where he basically sprung using all the power from his legs, like a frog essentially. He sprung all the power of his legs and with a haymaker clipped him. Boy, he set that up firstly by cornering Caleb Plant, which is one of the things I touched on, which Caleb Plant didn't really do too well in avoiding. He got cornered too much, and got pressed among the ropes too much as well. And he could done that, set him up for position, and he sprung on him. His reactions were slowly, a lot slower than they usually are. Sprung on him, caught him clean, stunned him, and he finished the job. Canelo's a very good finisher. I mean, the left hook was landing all night, and that was a punch that, basically won him the fight effectively, or, at least for people to see. But you Canelo, shout out to that guy. I mean, but yeah, he's just on a different level. And that's the thing. I mean, the other guys he fights, they're not really on a level. He's on a level 10. These guys are on like level 5. They're jumping so many levels to try to reach him. It's crazy. But yeah, shout out to Canelo, first super middleweight champion first undisputed super middleweight champion of the 4-belt era. And also the first Mexican undisputed champion in the last 50 years. Boy, Canelo's really doing big things. He's the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. 4-weight world champion. Boy, he's really doing big thing, massive things. He's still pound for pound number one quite clearly. We'll see what Crawford can do and Usyk can do, but Canelo his resumes are so deep, it's crazy, and he's consistently refilling it and refurbishing it and refining it. But yeah, from Canelo's side, we go on to Caleb Plant. He's now 21 and 1 with 12 KOs. Like I said, I had him losing 96-94. My scorecards before the knockout. He won round 1. Round 2 and 3 were close. I gave him one of those rounds, like I said before. He won round 8 and 9. And that was it. So that's the 4 rounds he won. His jab was working really well. I mean, he out-jabbed Canelo masterfully. I believe he out-jabbed him, what was it? It was like 42 to 15. He out-jabbed him. But the problem was there was no follow-up. There was no real follow-up that caused Canelo to respect his power. And that's the thing with Canelo. If you can't get him to respect your power, eventually he'll walk you down, get close, wing in a body shot, slow you down and knock you out, or basically win the fight that way. You have to respect his power. And for you to get the luck rub of the green with the judges, who we all know are in Canelo's corner, you have to visibly win these rounds. You have to push him back, do something that alters his game plan visibly. You can't just nick rounds with Canelo. You have to visibly win rounds. We possibly can nick rounds if you do a great flurry in the last 30 seconds, 40 seconds, which Sugar Ray Leonard did to Marvin Marvelous Hagler back in the day. That's how he nicked rounds. Obviously, he was the cash cow incumbent, so he had he was fortunate to he had the leeway to be able to do that. But Canelo, you can't really do that. And if you want to nick rounds, like I said, you have to cause damage in those flurries. But yeah, Caleb Plant was elusive, very elusive for much of the fight. But like I said before, he got cornered too easily, pressed up on the ropes too easily, and he couldn't stop Canelo's left hook, unfortunately for him. And the left hook is the one that, that's all she wrote. That's, murder she wrote. That's what that was the money punch. Maybe if I'm being super critical, maybe he should have tried to tap Canelo after, that punch connected, but he was gone. He was stunned. Canelo was right there. He was on the ropes. It was long, man. It was long, so I can't really get too critical with that, because I don't think he could have done much better. But at the end of the day, he just wasn't prepared for this fight. He didn't prepare himself by getting the experience from fighting the necessary fighters, the world-class fighters he needs to prepare him to give a better performance, who knows, even beat a Canelo. Because he's fought 60 fights. Caleb Plant's fought 21 fights. Canelo's fought more world championship fights than Caleb Plant has had fights. Canelo's been doing this thing. Canelo has that resume, has the experience. He's absorbed the experience from the likes of Mosley and Cotto and Mayweather and now Golovkin. He's fought all these guys and gained experience in them. Caleb Plant, the best guy he's fought, from my recollection, is Caleb Truax. Caleb Truax beat James DeGale. To be fair, I think he beat him twice, I believe. So yeah, like, what is there to do, really? I mean, it's just new levels, new devils. It's just completely different levels. They're on a completely different playing field. It's just crazy. I mean, Canelo's fought more championship fights than I believe Callum Smith, BJS, and Caleb Plant put together. Like Canelo's probably fought around like 20 or so championship fights now. And I don't think those guys, if they have, there's probably about 1 or 2. Canelo's fought many championship fights. It's crazy. It's crazy. Gosh. But, Caleb Plant can go back. He gave a good account of himself. He done a better job than BJS. He didn't, quote-unquote, go and take the coward's way out. That's what people tried to say BJS did. I mean, the reason why I'll let that stand up is because BJS said, you got out on your shield, brother. He didn't really go out on his shield. He went out on his stool. He went out on his shield, Caleb Plant. So huge credit to him. And he boxed well. And if they were to fight again, he has more experience in it down the line. Who knows, he could probably come back and win that fight. He really could. Especially if he goes up in weight, puts more punch on his punches, to slow Canelo down. But yeah, just looking at the statistics of the fight. First, before we get to statistics on the fight, as much as I rate Canelo, and as much as I also critique him, which is fair, another critique for him. Yes, he's won all these belts, super middleweight, undisputed, beat all these guys, got up divisions. But these guys, like I said, they were undefeated, but they're not. Are they real tests for him? Do they have the resume to beat him? Can they beat him? Can they do this? Can they do that? I'm not sure. I just don't know. Because who have they fought? They haven't fought each other. They haven't built up the experience to really trouble Canelo. And for Canelo, his greatest victory, where a guy's not out of his prime, is over Golovkin. And I've always contend he lost the first fight quite easily. I mean, if you really, really wanted to give it to Canelo, you could give him that draw, which he did. But that's been biased in my opinion. The second fight, he could have nicked it. It could have been a draw. Could have gone Golovkin's fight. So I'm not really too mad about that result there. I could see how both, all three decisions could have been made. But, that's just one thing for you guys to ponder on. I mean, if you look into it, like... But then again, at the end of the day, you fight who's in front of you. And who's been in front of him, whether it's been planned or carefully planned or manipulated, they've not really been up to snuff. Even Golovkin, as good as he was and how much of a tyrant he was, his resume is not as great as you think it is. Like, the actual quality of fighter. To be fair, he's been avoided. I'll give him credit for that. And promotion-wise, he's not really the greatest. So it made it easier for guys to avoid him because, you find this monster and not going to get paid well at all. So I understand that. But yeah, back to the statistics for you analytics guys, for you accountants, for you economists, for you data analysts out here. So yeah, Canelo got out jabbed 42-15, and like I said, Caleb Plant was decent defensively. However, the sticking point was the body shots, 53-13. That's just too much. Remember when I got into AJ for only landing 13 or 14 body shots? If he landed just about 10 more, he could have really changed the fight. And 52 of those 53 body shots were power punches. So hooks, uppercuts, with all force, with all venom. Shout out to Caleb Plant because he took them well. I mean, he really did. But yeah, total punches landed. Canelo landed 117 out of his 361. That has a percentage of 32.4%. Plant 101 to 441. Well, out of 441, that's 22.9%. Power punches, Canelo almost lapped him. 102 out of 251, a whopping 40.6%. Caleb Plant 59 out of 209, 28.2%. A touch on the jabs. I mean, even though Caleb Plant almost tripled Canelo in the jabs, percentage-wise, it was only like 13.6% for Canelo to 18.1% from Plant. So Plant was wasting a lot of energy and not really landing. To be fair, he had to do that to keep Canelo honest and, have something to think about. But it's crazy. But yeah, the judges had it 96-94, which is what I had, by Patricia Morse. David Moretti, 97-93. Not too bad. Steve Weisfeld, 98-92. A bit bad. Dan Raphael, don't know how. And I had a 9-1 on Twitter. I hope he was trolling because that's just egregious. But yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with this. What next for Canelo? What does he do next? Does he stay in the super middleweight division and fight the likes of Charlo and Demetrius Andrade and, David Benavidez? Does he do that to cement himself, defend his undisputed belt a few times? Or does he go up and to really win a real or be in his prime champion in the light heavyweight division? So that being Beterbiev or Bivol? Or here's a little one from left field. Does he cash out and fight Kamaru Usman? Does he do that? I don't know. Because Kamaru's been calling him out. Canelo says it's a payday. But I don't think Canelo will do that as of now. But he might do that down the line. I think he might end up fighting Jake Paul down the line. Because eventually, 4 or 5 years, if Jake Paul continues to be relevant, we'll see what he does against Tommy Fury. I think he will beat him for more reasons than one. But we'll touch on that later. But if he does do that, that's going to be major money. That he could start to be making £100 million, not £100 million, $100 million in revenue. So we'll see. But yeah, it's your boy Melo TMG. So make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on socials. That'll be the Instagram, the Twitter. Listen to our podcast audibly. We touch on more than just boxing, football, basketball, boxing as well. We have athletics, UFC, every now and then. But yeah, I'm out.